What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the new draftees that we picked up in the NAB AFL Draft and the pre-season rookie draft that happened over the last couple of days. 8 new players coming to the club in 2018, majority South Australian too, which is fantastic to see. So let's get straight into it and have a look and see who exactly we're picking up and what value they can bring to Port Adelaide from 2019 onwards. So what a fantastic draft period it was for Port Adelaide. They went in with a strict strategy of picking up some speed, some class around the ball and some great skill. And you know what, for me personally, I reckon they excelled at picking up all of that in the 8 players. And we got a few bonuses as well with a few surprise packets, which was an interesting pickup that I noticed because, you know, I never thought we'd use picks. Well, at the time it was 85, with a lot of teams passing their picks late in the draft. We ended up with 73 and 76. And I'm guessing, you know, if we ended up pretty late in the draft, I wouldn't have assumed we'd use it. But in the end, we got 2 picks in the 70s, and we jumped at a couple of players that came from absolutely nowhere from my perspective. They, from what I've read, they have actually dropped in rankings, those 2 players. Everyone thought they would have actually gone in the draft and gone a bit higher. Speaking of, obviously, Riley Grundy and Boyd Woodcock. And then you look at the rookie draft, we know we're picking up next-gen academy players, Kai Pudney and Martin Frederick, along with Tobin Cox. So these are a lot of players we actually never thought we'd pick up, and we all focused on our 3 picks inside the top 20, and in the end, I think we've got a great crop of players. And as a grade, if I were to grade Port Adelaide's draft over the last couple of days, it would be an A, because they executed their strategy perfectly. And not only that, we've got a great young tall defender from Sturton, Riley Grundy as well. So pretty exciting times. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each player and see exactly what they're going to bring to Port Adelaide from 2019 onwards. So obviously we're going to start with pick 5, and you know, the one player that we set out to get since February in 2018 is Connor Rozee. Pretty surprise packet in terms of where he ended up going. If you said to me we'd pick up Connor Rozee in July, I wouldn't have had a clue who he was. But you know, his North Adelaide form, especially throughout the final series in the SANFL, he didn't have a very good under-18 championships, but he flew into contention with his classy ball use, his overhead mark. He's got great pace around the footy. He's versatile. He can play in 3 different positions: forward, defence, or attack in the midfield as well. And at 185 centimetres, Connor Rozee, I reckon he's going to be an absolute gun. Lock him in for round 1, because I really see him really play. He could be like a Sam Pepper, play majority of the games next year and stand out. And he could, you know, be that type of player that could release a Ryan Burton, a Riley Bonner, or one of those types of players into the midfield, and it could, you know, not only fix up our skill and speed issues, but he could, you know, release a few new players as well, and we could see different sides of players that we haven't. So that's the benefit of picking up Connor Rozee in this draft. And you know, pick 5, no wonder we fought for him. He's an absolute gun. The next was Zach Butters at pick 12. A little bit of a surprise packet. I did pick him that we'd select him at pick 15 when we did the pre-draft predictions. And I really felt that he was someone that was always under the radar, especially for our club. And I reckon, you know, as soon as matching bids from other clubs started to happen, I started to think, you know, I reckon Zach's a chance here, because Jai Caldwell went, Jackson Hately hadn't gone. I was thinking, you know, we've got Connor Rozee, and I reckon Butters, he's got that versatile pace about him as well. He's a great ball mover. He uses the ball superbly. He's got a big tank, and what's the good thing about this is he can play on the inside and can play on the outside. So not only he can accelerate from the contest, but he can then, you know, he win his own ball to do that. And it's something in a midfielder that is very hard to find, and he's going to really suit the way Port Adelaide play if we can do it right. So the club is from Western Jets. Talent manager Jai Bond stated that he was tough and courageous, which basically is the cream on the top. You know, we need a courageous player to run through that midfield, and I reckon Butters, he's going to be a very good young player for us in the near future. Not to put any pressure on him, because these are all hypotheticals, as we know, but from what I can see, he's going to do a good job.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Xavier Dursman was pick 18, another Vic Country lad. He was another one on the list that I really thought that we'd possibly pick up, and I reckon, you know, as a midfielder, he's got pace to burn. He can play inside and out as well. He's a very unique midfielder, Jeff Parker said. He's a very good runner and competitor as well. So he, once again, will complement, you know, picking up Rosie and Butters. And they're basically the three players in this draft that have speed, skill, and class. They complement each other. And I reckon in the near future, 2 to 3 years, those three will be star-mates in our midfield. And it'll be good to see. And I reckon, you know, as a versatile player like Dursma, he could even go forward. And that's another positive for us as well. So then you move on to Riley Grundy, pick 73. He's from Sturt. A little bit of surprise packet, as I said before, for picking him up so late in the draft. And I didn't even realise we were going to use our later picks until you know, he got selected. So he's the brother of Brodie Grundy from Collingwood. So it's in his blood. He's a tall defender, 194 centimetres, got a great jump and a great leap. So you could see him even chipping in the ruck, especially for the Magpies early on. And he has an enormous amount of upside. So I reckon he's more of a project player. So you might not see him on the ground or make a debut for a couple of years. But I think what he has and what his family has described him to have, along with his brother as well, he's a very unique talent to AFL footy. And I reckon if he turns out even 3/4 as good as his brother, we've got a really good, talented player on our hands. Another surprise was pick 76, Boyd Woodcock from North Adelaide. Played in the North Adelaide Premiership with Connor Rosie. So no doubt he knows what it's like to play tough, competitive footy. He has great pace, and he has a great goal sense. As a forward, you know, I think, you know, losing the likes of Jake Need, and he's the type of player that's a good replacement for that. So if he can make it, we've got a good replacement to come into the side. He's strong overhead, which is another thing. I like a Robbie Gray type, just a strong overhead mark. Do you remember like Brett Ebert? Someone like that too. He was a real aggressive player, and I think Boyd Woodcock will be similar to that. And I reckon he could really chip in and be a little bit of a surprise packet when it comes to his chance at making a case for selection. Alright, so we move on to the rookie draft, and I think a couple of people will be very surprised with this pick. And there's not a lot about him. Tobin Cox was picked 9 in the rookie draft. He's from Glenelg. He's a midfielder. He has some pace about him, and he works really hard around the ground as well. So he's got a big tank. He's an inside and outside mid. He's real stocky. So at 177 centimetres, quite short, but 77 kilos complements that with his stocky build. And I reckon, you know, he could potentially be a bolter. We don't really know a lot about Tobin Cox, but certainly it'll be another addition to the side that I reckon will bolster the Magpies for sure. And who knows what he can make of it at the club over the next couple of years. And then I move on to the NGA Academy picks that are Category B rookies, Kai Pudney and Martin Frederick. We'll start with Kai Pudney, who's been the most talked about academy player we've had for a long time. Throughout the year, playing for Woodville West Torrens, he's just been outstanding. And you know, all praise from coaches and staff from the academy and from Woodville, saying, you know, they accumulate the ball. Especially Kai. He's got great pace, great awareness around the footy, and he's a really hard worker. But the thing is he got pace, and a lot of people said he could be a Pollock replacement. And I reckon, you know, if you give him a chance, he's got a good build. He's 78 kilos, 186 centimetres, a great runner, as I said before, with a pace. I reckon he'll be a surprise packet, and you might see him make a debut quicker than you think. No pressure on him, of course. I hope he makes it. But we'll see how he does in the Magpies next year. But I'm very excited about this kid. He's a really exciting talent. And the same with Martin Frederick, Category B rookie. South Sudanese descent he is from. He's been training with Port Adelaide throughout the year. Also the same with being a part of the Woodville West Torrens clan along with Kai. And he's got a great transition. He's got great pace, as we know, but he can run, and that's the main thing. And I reckon he could transition into the forward line and really complement down there as well. So all these players have a very, very bright future ahead at Port Adelaide. I wish them all the best. I reckon a few of them will make their debut next year. We only had 5 games from debutants in 2018, and I think that's going to at least triple next year. And I really think players like Connor Rosie, Dursma and Butters will feature in 2019 a lot of the occasion. You might see a couple of others as well feature. It obviously depends on injuries and how good their form is. But I reckon we've done really, really well in this draft. It's going to be fascinating to see who develops quicker, who takes the game on, and who's going to really improve our side next year. But I wish all the players the very best, and I reckon the club's has grabbed a really good crop of players in this year's draft. Thank you very much for tuning in, Port fans. I hope you've enjoyed this draft wrap-up of our draftees. I'm really looking forward, as I said before, to seeing how they develop. Let me know who you're excited about to see in our footy colours next year, and who do you think, is there anyone else in particular you'd like to see be picked up by Port? That's it. This is the last piece of the puzzle before we train hard over Christmas and really strive for a bigger 2019. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide content coming your way over the off season. As I said, as we build for a big 2019, only 31 subscribers to go into 1,000. It's a big time for the channel, it's a big time for the club, and I'm really looking forward and excited to see what it brings in the future. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next video. My name is Anthony, and as always, come the pair.